Is emotional contamination making it really hard to live in your house? We're going to talk all about emotional contamination. Stay tuned, that's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist. I make videos for people with anxiety or OCD. And this episode is brought to you by NoCD, providing OCD teletherapy across the country. Today I want to talk to you about emotional contamination. Have you ever heard that term before? You know, contamination is contamination, and OCD loves to make everything and anything contaminated. That's what OCD does. And a lot of times it will want to target things that are going to impact you the most, things that you love, enjoy, or things that you're around all the time. And so it can target places. Emotional contamination can be places, and it can be people. And today I want to talk to you about people, and even more in particular, I want to talk about people in your home. I want to talk about what happens when emotional contamination impacts your living. It says that somebody that you live with in your house is emotionally contaminated. And it can be for any reason. OCD doesn't care. Contamination is contamination for OCD. So whatever your theme is, whatever things OCD is like, that's disgusting, or that's contaminated, it can make people contaminated. And so that part isn't important because it will be different for each person. But what do you do when you have to avoid a person in your family? You can't touch anything they touch, and it's growing out of control. That's rough. And the first thing that I want to talk about before we get into how do you handle that is your relationship with this person, because it can greatly impact your relationship, not only with this one person in your family, but with your relationship with everybody in that family. Because once one person's contaminated, OCD's like, oh yeah, I actually made a human being contaminated? Somebody who walks around and touches things on their own? That's glorious. I'm going to make other people contaminated too. Woohoo! Get the party started. So it is a snowball that grows out of control rather fast, and we don't want that to happen to you. So we want to talk to the person or people who are contaminated, and we want to explain to them what OCD is telling you and separate you from your OCD. That's important. So even if you're thinking, they know, they understand my OCD, trust me, when OCD makes you contaminated as a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, a sibling, a partner, it's different because you think that you're almost immune from the OCD. And so when it targets you as a relative, you don't know how to handle that. So talk to the person who's contaminated and say, I am so sorry that my OCD has targeted you and has made you contaminated. That crushes me as much as it crushes you, if not more. Like, I want to touch you. I don't want to avoid you. I don't want to have to run out of the room every time you come near me. I don't want to watch what you're touching. I don't want any of that. That's horrible. And I feel so bad. But I want you to know that's my OCD. That's not me. And I'm going to try to fight that. I'm going to try to work hard on that. But I want to say I'm sorry, even though it's not my fault. I want to say that I know intellectually that it's hurtful. And it's hurting both of us. And letting them know that and being human about it can be very healing for the person that is being contaminated, because all they want to do is hug you or touch you or help you, and then they're being targeted. And that's not your fault at all. That's OCD's fault. And it's good to get angry about that and get angry at OCD and say, oh my gosh, OCD, you're robbing everything from me. Like, you're taking people away from me that are important. And even if maybe you have a relationship issue with the person that's contaminated in your house, they're still infiltrating your environment, your safety, and they're threatening your other relationships as well, because just because one person's contaminated doesn't mean it stops there. And it can spread to other people that might impact you even more than the person that maybe you're having an issue with in your house. So regardless of your relationship with the person, it's good to sit down with them and to let them know that these are the intrusive thoughts you're having around OCD, and separate it out. You know, OCD is telling me that you touch these things, or you do this stuff that's disgusting in my head. It's not about you. It could be anybody can do this, and my OCD is going to glom onto that and make it an issue. And then the second thing you want to do with your relationship is think out of the box. How can I connect with this person in a way that OCD can't taint or disrupt? Because I don't want to impact my relationship where I can't show you my love, or I can't show you my gratitude, or I can't talk to you, or I can't relax with you. I can't have a relationship with you. I have worked with people who can't talk to that person, look at that person, be near that person. It's like they don't exist. It's like they're invisible. And that does some damage to a relationship. Even if you get better, that relationship can take a big hit. So one way to fight back with OCD is to say, I'm going to still have a relationship with this person. I know you're trying to sabotage everything and anything in my world, but I'm going to still have a relationship with them. And so what out of the box thing can you do? Can you text them? Can you Skype them? Can you Snapchat them? Can you play video games with them? Can you go online with them? People can play Candy Crush together. You can do anything online together. Now, OCD will pipe in and be like, that's contaminated, or that will be bad too. I mean, OCD, it's like chess. OCD will make its move when you make a move. But this is how you beat emotional contamination when it involves the people in your life, is you find ways to connect, and then OCD is like, uh-oh, I don't think so. And you're like, yes, I'm doing it, and I'm not going to listen to you. This is my first step back for me to take control. So find some creative way that you can still enjoy this person. Can you make videos for them? Can they make videos for you? Can you write them a note? It doesn't have to be on technology. There's many creative ways to interact with people without touching them or even being in their presence. So think about that, have a conversation with this person, and believe it or not, that's actually doing something against OCD, and that's actually taking a step in the right direction. So regardless of your relationship with this person, that is working towards your freedom and to kind of let go of the OCD trap around this person. Now let's talk about, what do you do with emotional contamination? And so hopefully you are seeing an OCD therapist, and I know that we're not a dime a dozen and we're kind of hard to find. So you can always look for an OCD therapist at the International OCD Foundation. They have a resource page, and going to iocdf.org/find-help is a great way to see if there's an OCD therapist in your area. If there isn't one, you can always contact NoCD and see if they have a teletherapist in your area. And I have links in the comments below so that you can access both of those. But if you don't have any help, that doesn't mean that you don't work on this stuff yourself. And I'm a big fan on grabbing the bull by the horns and not waiting if I'm on a wait list or if I can't find a provider to start doing things to help myself. Because emotional contamination is like quicksand, and it will swallow you whole the minute it's grabbing you, and we don't want that. And so it's one of those issues that I see balloon out of control really, really fast, and can contaminate someone's entire environment and make it very unlivable for them. And I don't want that to happen to you. So with all issues, it's really important to start to push back and challenge OCD. But with emotional contamination with someone in your house, it's even more important. So you want to do exposures. And I'm not going to talk about exposures in this video. I do have other videos on exposures. You can go to the search button on my channel and type in ERP. There'll be videos that explain ERP, and other people have made videos on what is ERP, exposure response prevention. But that's what you want to be doing. You want to slowly move towards the thing that OCD is finding triggering and learn how to sit with that discomfort, which I know is easier said than done. But when it comes to people, it's even more important. And if you can't start touching those people, even if you're like touching them like this and then not washing or doing any ritualizing, anything that would undo that discomfort, then start with something smaller. A lot of times people think it's all or nothing. I can either touch my mom or I can't, or I can either touch my partner or I can't. I can either touch whatever or I can't. And there's so much gray in between. That's the gray that OCD doesn't want you to know about. Can I touch something that they have touched? Or can I take a paper towel and touch the thing that they touched? And that's like twice removed, right? So it doesn't have to be black or white. It is, how can I move towards discomfort? So if my parent touched a cup and I can't touch the cup, my OCD is that intense, can I get a paper towel and rub the cup? And then can I rub the paper towel all over me and feel contaminated? Maybe that's a good place to start. There's always an entry point. There's always a place where I can start where I'm feeling slightly uncomfortable, but not panicky. That's where we want to go. I want to feel a lot of discomfort and uncertainty, and I want to sit with that so I can learn how to tolerate it. It's like going to the OCD gym and building up my muscles. And then when that is doable, then maybe I'll feel empowered and I'll say, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to touch the cup. And over time, I might touch items that that person has touched. And then I might say, I can touch that person. Maybe I'll just touch their hand. Maybe I'll just touch the clothes that they wore, but they're not actually wearing them. It will be different for every single person, but you want to go to the place where you can tolerate it. So if I can tolerate touching this person just briefly, then I want to start with that. I don't want to start with the cup or a paper towel. I want to go right to the source. But if that's too much, I'm going to start going backwards and seeing where can I enter into these exposures where I can start doing something. Because something is more than nothing, and you don't want to be doing nothing, especially with emotional contamination. So I hope that you find that helpful, and I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll talk to you again next Thursday. Take care.